Aerospace has successfully completed phase 2 testing of its VX4 electrical vertical takeoff and landing eVTOL aircraft, progressing to Wingborne flight trials. The VX4 aims to revolutionize urban air mobility by offering a sustainable and efficient alternative to traditional transportation. Now, the upcoming Wingborne flights will assess the aircraft's aerodynamic performance and energy efficiency, which are both critical factors for its commercial viability. I will say achieving regulatory certification is going to require rigorous testing to demonstrate safety, reliability. Andrew, you know my thoughts on getting in one of these. Like I want to make sure it's locked down tight. But I'm okay with them spending lots of time and money on making sure it's safe. That's me, though.
I mean, this whole eVTOL thing's been going on for a few years now, and there's obviously a couple of clear front runners out there, and then you've got some of the big OEMs starting to play in the space as well. But I think 2025, we're going to hear a lot more of it because there's a number of maturing startups that are there going in manufacturing. So I think we're going to be talking about it a lot in 2025. But the biggest issue here is battery versus mission viability, because unlike your traditional aircraft, eVTOLs are entirely dependent on battery technology, meaning the energy density, that weight, that degradation rates directly impact your range, your payload capacity, and of course your economic feasibility, which is the big one actually. The biggest challenge is making sure that the battery tech can deliver sustained performance across hundreds of daily flight cycles while staying within strict aviation safety limits.
So what can they do to make sure that there is sustained performance there, right? I mean, is it testing beforehand? At what point in the process, maybe this is just my naivety, is the most important testing going to be done? Is it virtually testing it before they make it or physically testing it after? Both?
Well, it's always going to be last chance saloon as the most critical, isn't it? But it is both, yeah, for sure. I mean, virtual testing is critical up front, but real world field testing determines whether the technology can actually scale. And battery performance isn't just about energy capacity, it's also about stability, thermal stability, your charging cycles, and then you've got the real world degradation under operational loads, as well as that long-term viability of that battery. So if the virtual testing is wrong, then they'll never get to the field stage. But the real deciding factor is what happens when the batteries are put into continuous high frequency operations in real world conditions, because that's where eVTOLs will either succeed or they will fail commercially.
Yeah. So solution could be product validation simulation. I also feel like it could be manufacturing execution. I don't know. It feels like there's multiple steps that
it's got multiple failure points, hasn't it? So the solution isn't just one fix. It's a full critical thread approach, end-to-end product lifecycle approach, connecting your design, your testing, and your manufacturing. So, let's pick it up in this case after design, which is where a lot of these startups are now. And you're bringing your product validation and your simulation. So before a single battery is built, your digital twins and your FEA simulations predict thermal behavior. They predict those charge cycles and that degradation. And if it fails there, it's never going to move forward. So that's one out the way. Two is you're going to push it into manufacturing execution and quality control. And even if the design is solid, manufacturing flaws can kill battery reliability. MES will ensure a tight process control, your defect tracking, your real-time monitoring of every battery cell that is produced. And then lastly, you've got your performance analysis in real-world ops. And because once in service, an AI-driven monitoring will track those charge cycles. They'll track that heat buildup, any failure risks, making sure that the batteries don't degrade faster than expected. So you get it right, and you've got safe, repeatable, scalable battery performance and affordable tickets on these eVTOLs. You get it wrong, nobody can afford it, and it ain't going to work anyways.
Yeah, get it right every step of the way. it's all through all the points.
Defense, yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Next.